All right, so ladies and gentlemen, with that, what we actually did was we have already moved on to our next game changer. So the 5 game changers that we were talking about, so we have moved to the next one, which is next gen customer experience. And the next session is to highlight the importance of the new age customer experiences. We have a keynote for you, and on the topic of augmenting collaboration to elevate customer experience in financial services. And to deliver this keynote, may I request Mr. Aayan Banerjee, Head of Enterprise Business for Zoom, to join us on stage and do the honors. Over to you, sir. Can we have a big round of applause for Mr. Banerjee?
Hello, can you hear me all? All right, wow, this is loud. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You know, having a keynote session after a break is kind of very interesting. You've had conversations, you have collaborations, your mind is buzzing right now. So I was listening to some of the conversations today, and I just wanted to start off simplifying the entire customer collaboration, augmenting customer experience in very simplified terms, because that's where the major confusion lies. In today's age, I just want to make sure that you get the signals, these lights are very bright, you get the signals clear, and by the time you exit this session, there will be 3 large buckets. Bucket number 1, some of you will say, I have completely covered customer collaboration. I've understood how to elevate the customer experience, which will basically make you around 10% of the percentile people who get it. Majority of you will be surprised in the sense, you will think, oh, I didn't know this could be possible. These are the few other things that we could do. And there will be a small percentage of you who will think, what was I thinking, or what did I miss? And so the briefing that was given to me for this session was, there'll be a bunch of industry leaders here, and then who have done customer experience, managing expectations, managing all the escalations for a living. What is it that you can add to their conversation? What is it that you can make sense to them? So I kind of broke it down to very simple 2 or 3 points. So how do you augment? So when you already have an existing customer relations, how do you then augment? Basis what? What are the metrics that you use? What is the collaboration metric that you use? Are you still in 2014 mindset in 2024? And I'll give you an example to this. When people think of digital transformation, there's a lot of things that we take for granted, especially the definition of digital transformation. And this might surprise some of you. I travel the length and breadth of the country, and I find out that many people have a very different perspective of what actually is a digital transformation. But let me simplify this for you. At the heart of it, at the simplistic 4 pillars, if it were, number 1 is to engage with your customers. Close second is empowering your employees. The third one is therefore transforming your products. And fourth one is streamlining your operations. A mix and match of all this interconnectedness is what collaboration is all about. A mix of this also is dependent on the total experience that emerges out of how customer experience and how your employee experience is being managed in your current organizations. There's a long list of tasks that which earlier people thought was never possible. There has been this digital disruption that has happened. I'll give you a classic example, and I want you to jog your memory back to July of 2013. The last telegram was sent out of India on July 2013, a service that stood for a whopping 160 odd years got disrupted in about 10 years of advent of email. You're looking at a service which people thought would never change, this interconnectedness with people, meeting in person. We have to be physically present in one location, but now you have a Zoom meeting, for example. You have platforms where you can engage and reduce the silos and reduce the geographies. And there's no space for us to really worry about, oh, how will I meet this person? the customers have not really understood the power of collaboration. And so one of the key tasks for me was to highlight what is it that you can do while you get those right signals. What was the first signal that you got? You know, if I take the banks, for example, the first sign, if you missed that, was when the customer asked the bank to come home rather than the home going to the bank. But closely followed was the employee experience, which a lot of people have not taken. Now, a lot of people thought, I have hired the brightest talent, I have paid them reasonably well, good salaries, and I've had very good infrastructure. But then when I look to the right and talk to my fellow HR people, they're saying we are clocking about 22% attrition, 25% in many cases. Why is that happening? Is there something that is missing? Are we not connecting with the employees well enough? Because a good employee or a happy employee gets you a better customer experience, and then we all know what happens, we get a better total experience. So it's very important to understand, when you talk about augmenting collaboration, what do you actually do? Let me take you through a simple summary. If you ensure you fix the customer experience along with your employee experience, chances are you will get a better outcome with your overall impact, total experience. So give you a couple of examples. There have been many instances where customers have, the customers of today, when a customer is calling an agent, their understanding is that the person responding to me at the other end should be 70% aware of what my request is. We are in the age of extreme customer personalization, and that's your differentiator. We are dealing with customers, roughly, if you look at the demography in this country, 60% of the population is below the age of 30. You're talking about 30-35% of people regularly engaging in the digital native environments to understand how to get the response now instantaneously, and do we have the tools, the platforms that enable you to do that? Are you losing out on customers because you couldn't respond timely? Could it be that you have a resource constraint that, oh, I had 2 agents who are responding to a query, but 3 other queries went down the drain? But what if you had a virtual agent, an intelligent virtual agent who could help understand that I will answer level 100 queries, and then if it becomes the load is too much, and if the person wants to talk to a live agent, it could seamlessly transfer to the other person. What if you could save time on interacting with customers and focus on their, suppose you have a feet on street. I was talking to some customers who had 14,000 people feet on street. How do you reach out to them? Do you really need to meet them in person? Can you get there faster, quicker, smarter? If the answer is, I don't know, I'm thinking about it, there are platforms, there are tools, there are technologies that are available. For example, if you want to have an eKYC, for video KYC, Zoom has a video SDK component. The SDKs can get integrated with your app and reach out and do the KYC sitting from wherever you are. So I'm saying, if you were to summarize your customer experience, there are probably 3 things: velocity, volume, and variety. How do you manage all this in a smarter and a faster environment? Look at your employee experience. Like I mentioned at the top of the conversation, there are people who do not have this sense of connectedness. So that occasional mail from the top of management saying this is the new announcement is something that people used to do in 2014. In 2024, you want an immersive experience. You need an engagement hub where people can talk to each other, have a community experience, have shout outs. This generation has a high need for approval, high need for visual approval. The question is, what is your organization doing to enable that? Why not capitalize that? Why do you take it as a weakness, but instead you could take it as a strength? So to understand that, I would want all of you to probably visualize where you are in the digital maturity circle. And the reason I ask this is because most of you have passed stage 1, which is the awareness. This is the basic analysis getting, this is to 2013 or 2012, 2013 time frame. 2016 timeframe, you are in the adoption phase where you have adopted some of the technologies, probably doing some basic data analytics and doing a little bit of intelligence gathering from the available data. But fast forward to 2020, and you are now slowly integrating. The maturity of the model is where it is no longer a project. It's become like a way of life, like some of our panelists said earlier. If that has become a way of life and it's integrating, where do you actually start it becoming a standard practice for digital transformation? And do you then, from now on in 2024, get to the leadership stage? Are you now going to be at the digital leadership stage versus I will wait and watch? Give you a classic example. I think it is a PwC research which found out some of the executives thought the value that we give to our customers is at 84%. Hold that thought. But when the same poll was done with the customers, they polled, we think it's 27%. So there is this trust deficit. There is this, we think we are doing great, but for those who we are doing, they don't agree. The question is your think tank ready to acknowledge, ready to agree that there is this trust deficit, and how are we going to bridge this trust deficit? That trust deficit will get bridged when you fix the customer experience, you fix the employee experience. You could have a whole bunch of interactive features, whether it is something like a WorkVivo, where it's like the digital heartbeat of your company. It's no longer a fancy tool to have. It's an essential tool to have in 2024. Just like if you remember back then when people were using servers, they said, I need to feel my server. And you said, no, moving to cloud is a great option. People thought, I want to see it in front of me. But you said, do you use mail? Well, you're already on cloud. Likewise, in 2024, if you are not leveraging the power of collaboration to reach out to more customers faster, quicker, probably missing out a lot of experiences. So to summarize this for you, we are looking at a situation where you need to get the right signals. And what are the right signals? And I just coined this thing like sanket, like signal, right? And if you look at it, it's a logical flow where what is the customer looking for? Customer is looking for smart solution. What is a smart solution? Smart solution which gets the work done quicker, faster, smarter, more accurately, with probably lesser cost. How will you make that happen? It will happen with an agile workforce. What is an agile workforce? That one which can shift, adapt, adopt, engage at a faster rate. Human and non-human, both. It needs to be a mix of both. And then A+, we will get you that novel customer experience. Why do you need a novel customer experience? Because if there are 30 players, if you want to survive, if you want to make the difference, you need to have some delta X difference. What is your delta X difference? Who is asking that question in the boardroom? Are your managers discussing? How do you define a novel customer experience? If every single person is delivering the same thing, how will you tie customer loyalty to you? Gone are the days of relationship building. Now it's value building. Likewise, if you have to get a novel customer experience, then you need key actionable insights, data-driven insights. Does your meeting summary tell you in a 50-minute conversation that your name was mentioned in the 13th minute, in the 17th minute, in the 20th minute? Can you then take an action item and send it across to 50 other people? Why are you spending time in summarizing, analyzing, doing it manually when it can be done to expedite your work? Do you have data-driven insights when your agents in the field are asking the right prospecting questions? Are they getting the right responses? Are they addressing customer escalations properly? If not, then you are losing a potential customer right there. And therefore, to make all this happen, do you have an engaged employee experience? And then wrapped around this whole ecosystem is AI. And we have heard so much of AI, and we will continue to hear in the foreseeable future. I'm talking about the realistic AI, which is possible in your everyday existence. So if you maintain these signals, chances are you will understand what the whole ecosystem looks like. At Zoom, and I'll let you see this and absorb this, many of you probably know Zoom from this meeting conversation, that this is the meeting space. This is Zoom 3.0 in some sense. 1.0 was up until say 2020. During the pandemic, it had a spike, it was 2.0. In the 3.0 space, Zoom is like this one intelligent hub with people at the center capturing the entire customer experience and people experience in one offering. And we are not limited to just the core communications that of chat, phone, but we are talking about Zoom Contact Center, omni-channel cloud contact center. We're talking about Zoom Phone. We are talking about business continuity planning. And if you need any of your developer ecosystems, we can engage there as well. So when you think of collaboration, if you want to truly leverage the power of a platform to get a better experience, this is what you've got to think. If you are still not getting the signals, this might be the time to zoom in a little bit. That's all the time I had for you this evening. Thank you so much. We can take questions later on.